Hello, everybody. Good evening. Thank you so much for being here with us. My name is Sonia Lockhart. I'm the Community Engagement Manager with Black Farmer Fund. And I'm very excited about this evening session on everyday herbalism for stress relief, tea, soaks, and aromatic support, led by Emilyn Sosa. And before I formally introduce Emilyn, I just wanted to share a little bit about our work at Black Farmer Fund for those of you who may be newer to the space and are maybe not as familiar with what we do. So, Black Farmer Fund is a nonprofit community investment fund that supports Black farmers and food actors across the Northeast. So, basically, all the states from Pennsylvania up to Maine. We offer funding in the form of grants and low interest loans, and we pair that with technical assistance. And we also have community engagement offerings that are meant to bring together Black food actors to network, to learn, to build relationships. And these skill shares are one of those offerings that we provide on a pretty regular basis throughout the year on a whole range of different topics, kind of based on community interest and what people want to learn about. And herbalism has definitely come up as a really um, big interest in our community. So we're super excited to be having this session this evening. And now I'd like to introduce Emilyn. Emilyn Sosa is a Brooklyn-based community herbalist, educator, and organizer. They currently lead advocacy and organizing efforts around farmer housing access, in addition to facilitating accessible, culturally grounded herbalism workshops focused on stress relief, sensory reconnection, and everyday plant-based practices. Emilyn brings together plant medicine, storytelling, and popular education to create welcoming learning spaces for people of all herbal experience levels. Their work is informed by Black diasporic foodways, collective care, and the power of daydreaming. And with that, I will hand it over to you, Emilyn.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very grateful to Black Farmer Fund and to you, Sonia, for this gracious invitation. And I'm so happy to have all of you here sharing this space with me tonight. Um, I'm a little sad that we won't have a chance to have a go around of names and where you're coming from, but please, as you're able, you can absolutely share in the chat because it gives me a lot of joy and love to know where you're coming from and your names. And we have a lot that I want to cover tonight. So I won't spend too much time on. Oh, thanks for that, Sonia. On introing myself, because I want to spend as much time sharing and also to give some space for questions at the end. So yeah, so this is gonna be an hour where we're gonna learn together about stress relief, especially in this season. So thinking about it being winter, it's colder where most of us are from if we're in the Northeast. And and yeah, we're gonna talk about like how for this season many of us are slowing down. Um, and doing less, hopefully. And for some of us, we're speeding up. Like I feel like I've been speeding up a bit, um, and our body is definitely carrying all of that. And especially because for a lot of us, we still haven't even fully transitioned from the past season. So some of this care, I hope, will be super supportive for y'all as you're yeah, thinking about how to give yourself some love and how to use everyday herbs and kitchen um, medicine in order to bring into your daily practice. So this is meant to be super accessible, but obviously I'm going to be sharing a lot. So please use the chat as a space for questions if you think you might forget, but I am hoping to have time for you to use your own voice and share with us if you have any thoughts or questions. And I also love when people share, you know, their own ancestral wisdoms, because I do not profess to know it all, but I do have a strong lineage of mothers who have been, caring for community for a very long time. So I know sometimes they speak through me, even when I don't know what I'm talking about. So with that being said, I want to offer us a quick grounding because I know we've all been going through the day. So, real quick, if you're able to just plant your feet on the floor or lay down or stand up, whatever works for you and whatever you're able to do. And let's just take one collective slow breath in for 5, hold a little bit, and then out for 5, and then we'll begin. All right. I hope that was good for all of you. I love a good breath. It just gets me present. Um, okay, so I know a lot of us in this space are, land stewards, farmers, caregivers, gardeners, so many amazing things that we do in this world, and that we are. So this is meant to be for folks who use their bodies in a lot of ways. So I'm hopeful that you'll take something from this. But please know that you don't have to do everything that I say or do it how I said. Just take what works for you. And I hope that what you take from here is just experiment. Like if I could have a wish, it would be that if an herb or a preparation sparked your interest, that you try it for yourself. I welcome you to demo thing or try things at home as I'm doing them as well, if that feels accessible or like something you want to do. Um, and Sonia and I just discovered that Zoom does this cool thing where it like follows you, which I had never known before. So it's always a first for everything. All right, so while I'm getting myself together, if you want in the chat, like, tell me a little bit about like where does stress show up for you this time of year? It could be in your body, sleep, mood, or motivation. But specifically with this like time of the year, the winter, the slowdown, the dying back. Yeah, I see some lovely stuff. Sleep, focus, your shoulders. Oh my God, yeah, I carry a lot of shoulder tension. Your energy, your neck, your mind. Yes, absolutely. All of those things. I feel all of those things deeply as well. So the herbs, I do want to share kind of the 3 different types of preparations that we're going to focus on for today. So one, we're going to talk about tea making. And for the purpose of this workshop, since we only have 1 hour together, I've already selected the herbs that I think are good for the season, and I'll tell you why. And basically, I'm going to just share a little bit about how you can prepare your own tea in your day-to-day life. And one of the reasons why I think tea making is a beautiful way to de-stress. We're also going to talk about a simmer pot. And I don't know if that's a new idea or concept for you, but it's something that I grew up with. Like my grandma always had a pot of something on the stove, um, that it was tea related, where she would just keep adding and adding, and the house always smelled amazing. And that is a practice that I carry with me and I want to share with you. And we'll also focus on a hand and foot soak that I think is super delicious for this time, not only because our skin be dry, but also because we work with our hands and we're on our feet all day. And sometimes we forget to show love to those parts of our body. So we're going to tackle a little bit of like the internal stress, the out stress, and then the environmental. Okay, so that's where the simmer pot really shines for me when you want to warm up your space. Cool. I love all of what y'all are sharing. Yes. the immune system, hip heaviness. Yeah, motivation is a huge one during the winter. And today, we're gonna talk a little bit about some herbs that help us kind of get the body going. So that's good to hear. Um, yeah, the cozy smells. That's a big one. People are really, okay. One of the reasons why I do this type of work is that I love the senses. Like I'm a very sensory oriented person. So my herbalism education and skill sharing has evolved to kind of um, be around like sensory practice in a lot of ways. I'm very much a pleasure practice type of person, and working with my senses with plant medicine has been a huge part of how my herbalism has evolved for supporting myself and my community. All right, so let's get to the good stuff. And Sonia and you all can please let me know if for some reason you can't see something, but I'm gonna do my best. I wish that y'all could smell how it smells in here already, but we don't have that kind of technology yet. So we're gonna use our, beautiful minds and imaginations. And for those of you who want to follow along and do your practice at home, feel free to join me. Yeah, so first we're gonna talk about tea making. And one of the my favorite things about tea making is its accessibility. So like most people get introduced to herbalism through tea because it's easy, you could buy it already prepackaged in the store. And it's something that you can make quick for yourself if you work from home, if you work in an office, if you work on the field, like you can always have some tea in a cup and enjoy. Yes, I can share a list of ingredients and things after the workshop. And Sonia is also recording this session so that you can rewatch if that's useful to you. Apologies for not having that beforehand, but the spirit moved at a different time in terms of prepping for the workshop. So definitely grateful for your grace because that's part of my practice too. I let it come. All right. So with tea making for today, I'm going to focus on one, two, three, four herbs in particular. And again, these are not like the only herbs that you could use for stress, but these are ones that I go to in the season and that I want to impart with you. Um, the first one we're going to have right now that is super. I don't know if you're going to be able to read it. Nope. I thought it would do some cool magical thing and show you the writing properly, but it won't. This is lemon balm. And awesome. Yeah, one of your faves. So happy to hear that. Lemon balm is definitely a fave in the herbalism community. One, because it grows abundantly, but also for those of us that are, moon people, that are watery. Lemon balm is a beautiful one because it helps you to just like allow yourself to just flow. Okay, and it's one that I carry throughout all seasons, but especially in the winter season I love lemon balm. And we have a new moon coming up, so great one for this moon time. The next one we're going to talk about is catnip. So a lot of people know and hear about catnip through having a cat as a pet. So, it for your cat pet, it can, kind of make them a little euphoric and swirly and, have lots of fun. And I love that for them. For the human person, catnip actually has the opposite, which is what's something really beautiful about herbs that kind of have multifunction in that way. So for us, it's more of like a sedative vibe. So this is a great herb for when you're feeling a lot of nervousness or like unsettled or irritation, which a lot of us tend to feel in this season because who wants to be out in the cold? Catnip is a beautiful one. Also, because I believe most of us, or if not all of us in this space, identify as a Black person. Um, this is a beautiful. Uh, sorry, I'm gonna sit while I'm saying this. Yeah, this is one of the herbs that I learned. Um, Folks who are of Black descent brought seeds of catnip with them. So it's one of like the first um, herbs that many of our ancestors used as support. Um, Wonderful. Y'all are so, I love this group. Y'all are doing all amazing things. People started some seeds. Love it. Yeah. Teething. Ooh, the babies. Chamomile is also a good one for babies, if that's what you're referring to. I don't want to assume. All right, catnip. We're gonna talk about peppermint. So peppermint, like I love the mint family. The mint family always gets my deep respect. But peppermint is one that I love because of the season. And it makes a lot of sense that we eat like um uh candy canes and all that good stuff in this time. But I love a peppermint. I love peppermint flavored things around this time. But peppermint is really beautiful because a lot of you mentioned motivation and like focus issues and fogginess during this time. Yes, 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 and yes. I'm also going through that, and I'm sure a lot of us in the space are as well. And peppermint and spearmint, I see somebody just uh named spearmint are beautiful mint family plants that are super supportive. And actually, catnip is also in the mint family. Fun fact. Cool. The last herb that I'll talk about for tea making is anise. And it's a seed, which I love introducing people to like seeds in herbal preparation because they don't get enough love, in my opinion, when it comes to like preparing herbal medicine. But seeds are amazing, as we all know, not only because they carry all this wisdom, but also anise is in the kind of like fennel family, if that feels more familiar to you. Is it like caraway seeds? Somebody else might know. I don't know if it's like caraway seeds, but maybe they're in the same family because I know they're in the family with fennel. Um, but what I love this for is I learned to use it in my family for releasing gas, like flatulation and like bloatedness. But also there's something so charming about the licorice flavor. Oh, and let me not lose you because I know licorice can be very polarizing. It's not gonna be like eating a licorice candy. Like, so that's why it's like when people think that's the comparison, it's not, but it is in the family. This is where they get that flavor, but it's not gonna be as intense. It's a very mild licorice kind of vibe. But yeah, this is a great one when you're feeling bloated, like, or you know, I think in this season, we don't pay enough attention to like how the stress of this season affects our tummies. Great one for tummy support if you're going through any digestive, and so is peppermint. So what I want to share about tea making is super quick because I know we're already almost at the half hour. Whoa. I'm gonna put on these gloves. But while I do that, I want to share that, when you're preparing teas and stuff at home, I like to purchase, if you're working with loose herbs, I like to purchase these little packets, like biodegradable packets, where you can stuff them yourself and use them at home, or you can like batch a bunch of them beforehand and then have them in like a little jar for yourself that you could keep with you in your bag or whatever you need. Let me see if I can look at the chat real quick. Where I purchase herbs. Because I teach a lot, I do purchase herbs in bulk. So I might not be the best person in terms of like local purchasing, but recently I've started supporting a local, or patroning, excuse me, a local herb shop. So if you have the ability to do that, please do. But it does get a little expensive when you work in bulk or like work with more um quantity of herb. But to be honest, like growing your own herbs, or or hitting up a local community garden is one of the best ways sometimes to interact with really fresh quality herbs, because they're so abundant and like pretty much every community garden that is in your area. And we all tend to be sharers, so that might be an avenue you want to explore. So the packets look a little bit like this. Oh yeah, and somebody said co-ops, yeah, are also good places for bulk purchasing. And also just make sure, when you're purchasing direct from a farm that, things are ethical. There's been a lot of stuff around over harvesting and just like not being kind to our plant sisters. Um, Very handy dandy, simple thing you could have in your house. And I tend to just use one of these. It could be like teaspoon or tablespoon. I like to measure with my heart. There are more like technical ways of like tea making, like if you're gonna sell, but for yourself, it don't gotta be all that. Like de-stress means also not thinking that hard, like about, just moving with intention. And for me, like for example, with something like with this mix of herbs, I would probably use mostly lemon balm. So I would do maybe like two of these. So one and two. Um, I do want to use our time a little wisely, so I'm not gonna package the whole thing, but you get the point. Like, so basically you would do about two of the lemon balm, and then I would probably do like one of the peppermint, one of catnip, and then the anise is seed, so I would do maybe like a teaspoon or maybe half a teaspoon of the seeds. And then boom, you have yourself a teacup. And then you can just close it up. You have your kettle going, pour hot water over. Okay. So something that I love to mention about the practice of tea making and how beautiful it is for de-stressing is that literally like something that I advise people when you're I didn't realize how loud that was going to be. When you are enjoying your tea, try to take the moment to actually like allow the aroma and the vapor of the tea, like enjoy that, like savor that moment. Because sometimes like we be so busy that we'll put the teacup down and then the next thing you know, the tea's already cold and we drink it cold and it didn't taste as good. And now it's like that's not intentional practice. Okay. Sometimes we got to take that 5 extra seconds to just savor what we're doing. And I think that that's really the key to actually doing something for yourself versus it just being like, I'm just making a cup of tea. Okay. And we learned that from our elders. Like our elders know what it is to have ritual and yeah, and self-care, period. Okay. So that's something that I like to mention with tea making because yes, it's a simple practice, but it's more than just that. It's the act of actually like taking time for yourself and doing some nourishment. Someone said, do you know if folks on certain medications should not be mindful working with these? Oh, great question. Thank you, Aisha. I appreciate you. The only one that I would say has like the most pertinent contraindication is for any of you folks who may be on SSRIs or like antidepressants. You might want to be careful with catnip. Typically, having a cup of catnip is not gonna like counteract with your medication. But if you're gonna start consuming catnip every day or something like that, and you are on accessorize, that's something you might want to consult with your doctor. But also making sure that you understand this is a mild sedative, so it's gonna, so it may interact like doubly if you're already taking something that's meant to be calming you, that is a prescribed medication. But thank you, because I did mean to say that. All the other ones are pretty safe in terms of any psychoactive qualities. Wonderful. All right, so let's get to the fun part. All right, I love tea making. But I also love to introduce people to things that maybe you haven't thought about yet. And this is one of them. Um, so before y'all came online, I had already started boiling my simmer pot. Okay, that's very hot. Don't do this at home. I'm sorry, y'all. This is also not my personal kitchen. This is my godfather's kitchen, so I'm just out here playing. Um, one sec. All right, so I want to try to show you. Can you see?
Yeah, the lemons in there.
Yeah, there's lemon. Okay, I'm gonna say what's in here. There's lemons. There. Oh, and you see the vapor hitting me? Ooh,
Yeah.
nice. Okay, so this is exactly what this is about. You're seeing it in action. So what's been boiling in here and then simmering, because once I got it to a strong boil, I put it down to simmer, which is why it's called a simmer pot. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna try to show you better. Um, you see? Awesome. So what's in here is very everyday herbs. Ginger, I like to use this kind. Um, lemons, cinnamon sticks, and clove. I measured with my heart. I didn't really do too much thinking around it. But what I want to share about a simmer pot is that sometimes when we're stressed out, we don't actually think about like um, the importance of doing something that feels warming for not only ourselves but the space. And simmer pots is something that I grew up with, but I had never really thought about it that deep until it hit me, and I'm just like, whoa, like this is medicine here. Like, like it's not just like, oh, we got a pot of tea going all day and all night, but it's like literally when you put that on, it fills the space. Like it smells like the holidays. Like it smells amazing in here. And all of the herbs that I use, and particularly ginger, is an herb that I want to uplift for this season. It's been a really big ally for me in the past couple of weeks. Um, and also, it's a very great herb for warming the insides. But what people don't think about is that also it can warm the outside because it's a very like aromatic root, especially when you're decocting or boiling it. So one thing I love about the simmer pot is like not only does it have a functional use, but and some people use it for odors. Like if you have a really weird odor, or if you about to fry some catfish, I love boiling, cinnamon sticks if I'm about to fry some fish or I'm frying something that is very odorous. But more importantly, it's like, uh, sorry, I'm trying to find my notes. Oh, 1 second. Yes, it's very warming. It supports circulation. And also, this is the season of colds and flus and sniffles. So, and also our body feeling stiff, or like a lot of people mention like stiff muscles. So, having ginger in your kitchen and in your home during the season is super, super important. Um, and I love using citrus during this time, something like lemons or limes, and it's very brightening for your mood. It cuts through the heaviness of sometimes like, a pure ginger. And also it kind of brings in that freshness into a cold space, internally and externally. And I love our spices like cinnamon and clove, and those kind of spices during this season are super supportive because not only are they grounding, but they're also very comforting, right? And like for example, activating. So a lot of us talked about like sluggishness or motivate lack of motivation. And cinnamon is one of those herbs that gets you going in a energetic sense. Um, yeah. So one last thing that I want to say about a simmer pot is that, and I think I mentioned it, but just in case I didn't, you can always have your simmer pot going, and you can drink that as a tea, which I do, because it's not about being wasteful. But sometimes, like when you have stuff in the kitchen cabinet, and you're like, oh, I haven't used this up. I'll make a simmer pot. I'll let it warm up my space, and also I may drink it as tea. And it's something that you can uh kind of carry you through the day or a couple of days. So that's something that my grandma did. Like she would just like keep throwing stuff in there. Like let's say she ate an apple, she gonna take the rinds and throw it in the simmer pot. Let's say she did this other thing, she gonna throw in so it's just a gift that keeps on giving. So I just want to say that. Um, don't be shy to keep feeding it. Okay. Great. So the last thing that we'll get to do together that's super interactive before someone said silly question. Should the pot lid stay on at all times? Oh, great. It's not a silly question at all. So I don't know if y'all noticed, but like as soon as obviously I could still smell it in the air, but like once I opened up that pot, like it just hit me, okay? Like, and especially if you're using herbs that are gonna open your your breath yeah, your nostrils and that whole system. So for example, like if I had put like a peppermint or eucalyptus into my simmer pot, you can actually use that as a steaming practice as well. Like sometimes like when I am congested or dealing with sinus issues, I'll make a simmer pot to warm my space and also to warm me. So what I'll do is I'll just use a towel and cover myself and then let the steam hit my face. Similar to what I did on screen without planning, but it's nice when you're able to kind of tent yourself over, so then you can take that in, and it helps to like open up your sinuses. So not silly at all. It's all part of the practice. Okay, so this is gonna be fun. Now we're gonna talk about um foot. Okay, I love the zoom in, zoom out thing, but I'm still getting used to it. So one thing that I love about this next herbal preparation that I'm going to share with you all is that it's super simple, but so powerful. Because one of the things that I've noticed in my time as, a community herbalist and, someone who's been working in support of farmers for quite some time and who's, also a land steward and all the things, we don't actually give a lot of love to our hands and our feet. Okay. And those are parts of our bodies that deserve all the love and attention. So when you're able to and you can make some space for that, I love doing a soak. Okay. It's not just when, you want to, what you call it, like remove the calluses off your feet and stuff like that. That's for aesthetic. This is for energetic and also just like gentle care and skincare, really, because like we said, from overwashing our hands or from working in the land, our hands tend to be dry, especially in the season where we get a little ashy from it being cold outside. So something that I love to do is that after I do the soak, I'll moisturize my hands real good with some shea butter or whatever other ointment you use. And I like to either put gloves on or put some socks on. It's next level, okay? So when y'all do your soaks, finish it up with that and then get real cozy with your book or your Kindle or your TV, whatever you need. And it's a really beautiful practice, okay? So we're gonna do it together real quick. All you really need is some coconut milk. I got this on sale. I got like 4 for $5. Um, and the two herbs that I'm gonna highlight today, but I've typically I just use one or whatever I have in accessible. So you do the coconut milk, and for today I'm gonna highlight chamomile. And oh, if you're allergic to coconut, that is great. What's another? I mean, you can always do a soak with water. Like water is an option. The reason why I like to do coconut is because coconut is very soothing for our skin. But yeah, water is fine. Someone said oat milk. Thank you, Precious. Oat milk is, I didn't mean oatmeal, oat milk. Oat milk is great. Definitely. So I think any milk alternative would be fine. As long as you feel like it feels good to you, um, would work. Cool. I just like coconut milk because it's has more fat, but again, other nuts do as well. So. Oh, somebody said goat milk. That sounds lit, especially if y'all got access to some fresh goat milk, which I don't, but go off. That sounds amazing. Okay. So what I do is that I literally warm up my coconut milk. And then literally after we do this, we're gonna go right into questions because we're about 20 minutes before 7. Cool. So yeah, so you put your pot, you have your coconut milk or whatever milk you decide to use. And I've already pre-perforated my milk, like my mama taught me, just one on one side and one on the other side to get the airflow going. Pour it in. Um, but one thing about this preparation that's important to know is that we're working with delicate herb matter, plant material, excuse me. I said herb matter, but that goes. Um, And basically, you don't want to boil. So this is not like a ginger where you're working with a root and you want to boil it to get the medicine. This is something that you're working with like a delicate flower, like chamomile. All of you that have grown chamomile know how beautiful and delicate it is. So once you warm your milk, you basically pour the herbs into it and you let it steep, just like you would making a tea. Cool? All right. So I think I got most of it. Yeah, so I'm actually gonna let my milk come to a slow boil before I cover it real quick with the herb. And then essentially, you're going to want to use some kind of bowl or something like that. And what I do is that I leave, I don't mind. I leave the plant material in the milk and just like soak my hand or soak my feet while I'm doing, you know, chilling or enjoying myself. Um, but if you're somebody who's like weird about random things floating in liquids, or or just it makes you feel icky, I'm with you, okay? Like if you don't like it, I don't like that for you either. So just take it out, okay? So you're gonna use a, oh, my mom has it right accessible. Colander, one of my favorite kitchen tools. I love having one of these handy as an herbalist because you need it every time. So basically, you just after you let it steep, you would have another vessel to hold the liquid, and then you basically pour what's in your simmering pot in so that you can separate the plant material from the liquid. And that's the same thing you would do if you're preparing like loose herb tea. And that's something that I do often. Like if I don't have the baggies, don't worry about it. You don't need to have the baggies. Sometimes if I'm feeling real creative, I'll just boil my cup of water and use like a baby one of these and then just put the leaves inside and just let it sit there on top of the cup. Like as long as it's reaching the water, you are steeping the tea and it's fine. Let me see. So I'm going to show you how I would do the thing, but I would love to use the last like 15 that we have to actually take some questions and also hear from you because I've been doing a lot of talking. So please, you are, yes, the herbs that I'm using for the foot soak today is chamomile and eucalyptus. So eucalyptus is more of the like has a more aromatic vibe. Oh, but I'll share why I use these herbs. So one, chamomile, although a lot of us use it for stress relief as something that we ingest, it's also really beautiful for soothing your skin and your muscles. So like if you're somebody that suffers from like, skin irritation or you just feel dry, it's a beautiful herb to use. It's also really calming, like when you have like overworked areas in your body, like our hands and our feet. And it's a really gentle herb, which is why I always like to recommend it for babies. Like if you have a baby that's going through cholera or, having trouble resting and sleeping. Um, Not super young baby, but after like a year or 6 months or so. Someone said, is it better to use fresh herbs and fruit for the oils compared to dried? So I'm putting chamomile on me. Yes, exactly. Your mom knew what they was doing. Okay. Absolutely. Um, yeah, like creating a poultice, which a lot of herbs are, we can do that with like plantain, like a lot of the skin herbs and calendula, like you can make a poultice, like either chew it up or you could mash it up with one of these, mortar and pestle. Another herbal tool that I love having accessible. Um, and you could just put it on the, eczema patch or whatever it is that you have going on your skin. But getting back to the fresh over dried, I am somebody that's a firm believer in using what you have accessible to you. Whatever's going to help you get to the next step, which is to actually do the thing, do that. All right, this thing. Do that, right? Because if finding it fresh feels like extra work, it's already creating stress. So if you got it dried, use it dried. If, I do find that for certain types of preparation, like fresh is needed. So for example, if you're gonna do a poultice, for example, then yes, like having the fresh herb that you can like mash and get the juices out, like perfect. But for preparations like these, where it's like tea, um, and like a simmer pot, like I use what I have accessible. Because I find that sometimes where I'm like, oh, I don't have that fresh basil, like it's gonna be like, what am I doing? And I'm already setting myself to create like something, an extra step for myself, and I may not end up doing the thing. So I always say, like, whatever's gonna get you to do it. And, I don't knock it. Like, part of the reason why I do a lot of educating and sharing is that, like, I'm from New York City, I'm from Brooklyn. So I know what it's like to not have access to like growing your own stuff and, having all this space and, for farming and gardening. So I was mostly practicing with dried plant material and that's my beginnings, in a lot of ways. So unless it was something I was accessing from like the store, the market. So I say, start with what feels comfortable, but if you do have access to fresh, I would say use it. In terms of dosing, one thing I will say that when you make tea with fresh plant material, you need more of it. So, like for example, if you're gonna do like a tablespoon of peppermint, you might need more mint leaves if you're gonna do like a cup of tea because it's not gonna really have the full mint essence because it reduces down like once you put the hot water. That makes sense. Or even for tincturing, like when you look at tincturing formulas, like when it's fresh plant, you need more plant because the plant soaks up the alcohol, the menstruum, and then it like lessens. So you tend to use more of the fresh than the dry. Great question. Is there a time limit to how long to keep dried herbs? I say like a year is fine. I mean, the reality is like they don't go like unless you're in like some kind of humid condition where it's like growing mold or something, like that would be different. But if it's kept in a cool, dry place, you can use it forever, really. I mean, don't quote me. I don't want nobody getting hurt. But I'll say when I say forever, it's because technically it doesn't go bad, it just becomes less potent. So, if you want that, like, fresh off the vine feel, then you might not want to use something you've had in your cabinet for a year. But sometimes when you're making yourself a cup of tea or you're making a simmer pot, like you don't need the freshest thing, that you have. Like sometimes I love our simmer pot for that reason too, because sometimes as an herbalist, I'll have excess herbs that I use for other workshops, and I'm like, dang, I haven't used this up. Like, let me make something with it. So that's how sometimes I end up like tincturing stuff or doing other preparations. Where do you recommend buying herbs if you don't grow them? Cool. That question was asked before. I'm not gonna really mention any specific names, but you can purchase them online. You can purchase them at local stores. But I will say that as much as I love patroning local stores, they can get really pricey because they buy them in bulk and then sell them to you by the ounce. So that gets a little pricey. But if you're in your experimental bag right now, that might be fine. But if you're looking to have like a herbal business or you're looking to like make something in bulk, then you might want to purchase bulk herbs. And I think the best things to do is always to buy local and buy from your farmer friends if you're not growing them yourself. And there's a bunch of different herbal farms. Like I'm thinking of I'm thinking of Reclamation. I'm thinking those were the two that came into my heart. But there's so many. Cool. So yeah, we still got like 10 minutes, y'all. Oh yeah, we're supposed to still do the thing. All right. So while I get this going, y'all can also unmute yourselves because I know I've been over here. Yes, Burgundy Farm. Shout outs to y'all and congratulations on making your year and many more to
Hi,
come.
I was asking about if there are certain herbs that you recommend we not mix together for simmer pots, soaks, or for the teas.
Hey Jay, great question. I mean, that's kind of hard for me to say off the top of my head because there's so many, there are like hundreds of herbs. Um, but typically, if you're sticking to herbs that are like what we consider or call kitchen herbs, like you should be fine. I think where it can become a little bit more like where I would say don't do it, it's like if you're working with stronger herbs that either are psychoactive or could impact like, if you have high blood pressure, you might want to be mindful about like what kinds of things you're doing. But that's more on a personal like depending on your body and what you have going on. But it is hard to kind of say because I'm very exploratory and I believe in play and I believe in trying things even when it's not great. So I think most herbs that are kitchen herbs are fine to explore with. But if you're trying something that you've never tried before, then I would say definitely make sure that you're consulting your doctor and or your local herbalist or pharmacist before you're trying out stuff if you have like a serious condition that you're living with. Thank you for your question.
Mm-hmm. You're
Oh,
welcome.
and then sometimes some things just taste nasty together. I mean, let me just say that. Like, some herbs, like the medicine is not gonna be like, the most amazing thing. Like, I love working with bitter herbs. So it's like, are they gonna taste great? No, but I know that the medicine is good for what I need in the moment, like for liver cleansing and all kinds of great stuff. So yeah. So I think that's another way I could approach the question too, like where sometimes like certain things don't really match. Um, but that's just, that's the herbalism I learned. Um, is there any other question? I really appreciate y'all. Y'all really have come with amazing energy and questions. I love when y'all keep me on my toes. Well, anybody who wants to unmute can do that. I'm gonna show y'all what I would do, and I probably should have already put the herbs in it, but it's okay. All right, so We have our chamomile. And I'm gonna put some eucalyptus. Oh, that was a lot. You don't got to do what I'm doing, like in terms of measurement. Like you can measure your stuff out. Um, but for the purposes of working a little faster, that's what I did. And then basically, I'm just stirring it in there because we don't have a ton of time. Yeah, and you let it steep, so similar like to if you're like making a cup of tea. But one thing to be mindful of is that you're working with your skin, okay? So your skin is very sensitive and it's gonna burn if it's too hot. And especially for our elders and our young folks that are, more on the babyer side, their skin tends to be even more sensitive, like it can become thinner with age, okay? So that's something to be mindful because I don't want y'all to be burning yourselves on my account. I would hate for that to happen. Okay? Yes, thank you, brown girl. So I want y'all to be safe. So definitely make sure. I kind of do the method of like, I don't even have no kids, but I've cared for a lot of children. Um, and you know how when you warm up the bottle and then you just pour a little bit in your hand and you're like, okay, like temperature seems right. That's kind of the same vibe. Like I'm gonna take a little bit in a spoon, put it in my hand, make sure that it doesn't feel like it's gonna burn me, and then I'll be able to work with it. So, um, let's see. All right, she's still a little hot. So while it cools down just a little bit, I do want to show y'all what it looks like. Okay, do you see there? And then this is the simmer pot. And it's the water is like really reduced because it's been simmering for like an hour way before we even got on the call. So I was already enjoying it in the space. It kind of helped me to prepare for the workshop. And obviously I knew I wasn't gonna have time to like chop the ginger and stuff while we were talking. But one trick that I do want to share with y'all that is just useful. My mom taught me to peel my ginger with a spoon because it's very easy with a knife because of all the little twists and turns in the plant to cut yourself. So in order to reduce any accidents, what do I do with the ginger? Yeah, so literally you have the ginger and you peel it. See? And you don't actually waste a lot of ginger because, child, when I be chopping my stuff with a knife, I be like wasting half the thing. I don't want. I'm like, this stuff is way too expensive and valuable and medicinal for us to be wasting. Cool. So essentially, I have like a vessel here. Um, and in the past, I've used like what I have. But this one is a nice, beautiful bowl. And like I said, y'all can because I used a little bit too much herb probably. Um I'm going to strain it because and yeah, like I mentioned, like when you strain, can y'all see?
Yeah.
Basically use the colander and then you can use your spoon and just like mash up the thing here and get that good milk out of there. And I'm gonna show y'all the beautiful color. It's now instead of it being kind of like white like regular coconut milk, now it looks more like a cream color. And this is typically what your plant material is going to look like in the end, kind of like mushy. And also another thing I love about a colander is like how it sits in the pot. You can just kind of like, sit it in there. All right. So here we have this, the coconut milk. So I already had warmed up some water. So typically I will add a little bit of water because, for soak, I don't want to use more than one can of coconut milk. I don't think it's necessary. So then what I'll do is that I'll add some water. Yeah. And then y'all can see that thing is steaming, so I'm not about to put my hands in there right now. But essentially, if it were more cooled down, I would soak my hands or my feet while I do something else, while I read my book or, well, I can't read my book if I'm on my hands. But yes, you get the concept. And that is basically what I have for you today.
Thank you
Thank,
so much, Emilyn. This has been amazing.
thank you. Thank you for putting up with me. I'm a little comical, and yes, I know you noticed that.
Thank you.
I just
Yeah, this was
I
great.
just be
Thank
chatting. Thank you. Appreciate y'all. And I will share my info with Sonia so that when they share out, I'll share more of the preparations and ingredients, and then also how to reach me. I'm also, like Sonia mentioned in my bio, working with um, farmer housing, security, and affordability in the Hudson Valley. So please look out for the work that we're putting out, and ways of getting involved with Growing Homes, which is the organization that I'm working with currently. And we're doing some good work and really need the support as we're growing and doing our best. So I wish y'all all a beautiful evening, and I hope that you can take away some good practices and rituals for de-stressing in this season.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Have a good night,
Thank
everybody.
y'all. Bye.
thank
Good
you. Bye.
night. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Please share more workshop information because I would love to attend. Or if you do in-person
Okay.
stuff too at some point.
I do, Jay. I do. I've been taking an Instagram break, so usually that's where I will post. But I think I was tagged on the BFF Instagram. It's just my name, Emilyn.Sosa. Um, and I usually do mostly in the summer though, because that's when I get invited to like come to different gardens and stuff like that. But I'm always open. Right now, a lot of the workshops I have coming on are for like membership orgs. So I'm doing one at like the LGBTQ Center here in New York next month and assembly. But I'm wherever whoever was gonna have me, I'm gonna come. So I'm always trying to share what I know as best I can. So definitely we'll keep y'all posted.
Okay, thank you. I'm in Philly.
Oh, perfect. Okay, sweet. Great to thank you for being with us.
Mhm.
I went to school like right outside of Philly for undergrad, so I have a love for Philly, and really grateful that we had such a wide reach tonight. That means a lot. It's very special. So yeah, let me know if you want me to come out to Philly. I ain't that far, so
Okay, thank you.
awesome. Good night.
Good night.